Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to that intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. Got a fucking pimple right here. Oh, well, it is what it is. That's life. Let's get it going, right? So, a lot of people have been asking me about Uso Lion. Rest in peace, man. My brother right there. Probably one of the best sellies, one of the worst and best sellies I ever had at the same time. I was held hostage by hair and big back, and that's just what it was. You know what I mean? When this guy first became my cellie in Tracy prison for the first time, because he was my cellie several times, but when he became my cellie, I was confuzzled. Is that the word for it, right? I don't know, whatever word that little weirdo made up, right? Because, man, I was at the cell door, like, rocking, like, why me? Why me? Discúlpame. Discúlpame. Right? I was trying to get about that motherfucking cell. But over time and hearing his stories, man, we became cool. And he was actually one of the coolest cellies I ever had, because I'll tell you guys right now, Usos are the coolest people and the meanest people all at the same time. Like, he'd tell me a story and I'd be all into it. And he'd be like, he was like straight off the island. So his shit was like twisted. He'd be like, que efe, oof, oof, telling me the story. And as he's telling me the story, like, I'll be like all into it. And all of a sudden he'll start reliving the story and he'll jump up and he'll be doing the haka dance. I was like, well, fuck, right? I thought the story was going to become HD. So it was kind of like a situation where I was held hostage by my own wanting to be around a solid motherfucker, but at the same time wanting to get the hell away from him because I didn't know if he was going to choke me out with his long ass hair. That's why I had bushy ass long lion hair. That's why we called him Lion. Anyways, I ended up getting a Tracy right out on a violation. I hate violations. They're the worst. They're the worst because you were just on the calles. You were just doing your thing on the streets, and now you're in prison. Like, and you asked the same question. Everyone else asked the same question, I'm sure. Look, I ain't even got to be around to know the question that you ask is the same fucking question I ask when I go to prison on a violation, right? The fuck is this, right? Like, what happened? I was just just in a torta yesterday. Like, I was just eating at Red Lobster or Sizzlers. I was just having it my way. And today I'm in Tracy, Gladiator School, damn prison, right? It sucks. So after you're done asking yourself that, your second question is, man, what am I going to do this time? Am I going to fucking keep it pushing? Am I going to just do my time, do it like a real one? Or am I going to go on the other side? What am I going to do, right? So there's a lot of emotions, a lot of questions that you ask yourself, because you're not prepared and ready for prison. See, you skip the county jail on a violation. You don't get to go through the county jail and to get up to par with the homies and get back into the rhythm of doing time. You're just boom, boom, beep, beep, boop. That's it, right? So I remember this particular time, I ended up catching a year flat. So what happens is my first cellie at that time is a dude that they had got me for absconding. They had arrested me out of state. I went out of state, tried to wiggle on them. They snatched me, right? Boom, I ended up getting pulled over with some bad chick. Try to lie, give him my brother's name. Figured my brother was locked up doing 20-something years. Fuck it, I could run that, right? They realized I didn't have green eyes and wasn't as heavy-set enough to be my brother, man. They knew, right? So they got me for false information to a police officer, the violation. It was all bad. Anyways, I get snatched up in the county jail, and they make me wait 30 days till the interstate compact happens. And I remember, I'll never forget, right? Because it was the 29th day, and I had court. And so the rule went that if no one came and picked me up by that 30th day, guess what? I was getting out. Man, they waited to the very last court of the day. It was like 5 o'clock, man. I'm looking at the CO. I was like, I'm ready. I'm talking to dudes that are going to court. One of them was one of my homeboys that I was in prison with before, right? Even though it was out of state, it's just what it was. And he's like, yeah, bro, if you don't go to court, they're going to release you. I said, yeah, they're going to release me because they didn't pick me up. So I'm all happy and shit. Then I'm sad. Then I'm happy. I'm emotional. It's an emotional roller coaster, right? And as the last court chain fucking leaves to go back to the county, right? Because we're at the courthouse, I'm telling the SEALs, like, hey, I'm supposed to be on that chain or I'm supposed to be released. And they're like, we got about 10 more minutes, man. If no one comes to pick you up, you're gone. Well, guess what? 9 minutes and 59 seconds, 2 fucking feds walk in. They snatch me, right? Boom. Get me on an airplane, fly me back home. I'm in Tracy prison on a violation, right? And so I get in there. My first cellie is this dude from Denver, Colorado. He's actually from Stockton, right? But they had snatched him in Denver, Colorado. So he's there on an absconding charge too. Absconding meaning that we left the state or we left. We just fucking said, fuck parole. I'm a soldier on some SIBO shit and just left, right? And so that's a violation. We end up going to Valdivia. Anyways, they give me a year flat. They stretch him out with release, right? He gets out and I get a year flat. And I'm pissed like a motherfucker because this is 8th, 9th one. This is my very first absconding. I'm sick. So as I go back to my cell, he's already gone. This motherfucker was gone. He went to board or Valdivia, it's called, right before me. I get back, this motherfucker done already rolled it up and left out of the cell. Like, out. I'm like, what the fuck? They released him immediately. And I'm sitting there sad than a motherfucker, right? Like, damn, man. Even though he was a fucking stupid-ass cellie, it is what it is. So now I'm looking for, damn, who's going to be my next cellie, right? And I'm chilling. And that's, hey, when you're in the county jail or prison, especially reception, which DVI was a reception at that time, right? It sucks, right? It's cool not having a cellie for a couple days, but you never know who you're going to get. It's like the lottery. It's like a box of chocolates in the movie Forrest Gump. You just never know what you're going to get, right? You might get a good cellie, you might get a bad one, but you got to retrain the cellie, man, to program like you like. And the cell it just sucks. It's part of prison. It's one of the things that really does suck. So as I'm sitting there, man, new arrivals come and people say, new arrivals on J, new arrival. I'm on J wing, right? And I'm looking and bam, I see the long hair and I know right from the gate, that's my old Uso Lion, right? That fool comes walking in, just big old Uso. Oof. Oof. He didn't do nothing in fast motion unless it was taking flight on you. It was all slow motion. Oof. Oof. And this motherfucker looks right up. And I'm right as you walk in. I'm on the 3rd tier, right? So as soon as you walk in, I could look down. This motherfucker locks eyes with me. And I hear the song, I believe I can fly. It just starts playing in my head. This was before R. Kelly was a weirdo, right? Or he was already a weirdo, but we didn't know. And it's like a fucking, like a slow motion, like the movie Space Jam. It's all slow motion, right? And he sees me. And he looks, he's like, Oos. And I'm like, what's up, Lion? He's like, I'm coming up in there, Oos. Right? And I said, come on, fool, I ain't got no cellie. Let's go. So he tells the SEAL, but they already got his cell. And his cell's like 2 doors down directly across from me. Some more sign language and shit. He's like, man, I'm going to get at the sergeant. He knows everybody. That fool knew the COs. Like, he knew their families. He knew their friends. He knew their fucking swaggeras. Like, he knew fucking everybody. So he's like, I knew it was only a matter of time he's going to come in the cell. It was a for sure thing, right? So he's looking. So I'm like, all right, Lion, all right. And this motherfucker wants to keep me on the door all day. He's like, hey, ooh, guess what? And he's telling me we haven't seen each other for a couple of years now, right? I'd have been out of prison. He's done been fucking in and out and in prison, right? And so sure enough, man, this one sergeant comes on the building, and I already know as soon as I see him talking to him, right then and there, he's like, roll your shit up. And boom, they bring him across. Now he's my cellie, right? Which is cool because at least I got a cellie I know I can function with, so I ain't got to go through the riffraff bullshit. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? What am I doing? It's like, hey, I'm in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Fuck, I hope they don't bring this fucking motherfucker. This dude's big. And he done got bigger. See, Usos don't get smaller, they get bigger. That's all, they get bigger. They're like in competition with they just stay growing, right? So this motherfucker has to walk sideways in the door. I'm like, what up, Oos? He was like, Oos, hey, brother, I'm gonna fuck you up, brother. I was, oh shit, right? He's like, where you been? Picks me up, gives me a hug. I'm like, damn, fool, squeeze like that. Just a big boy. So he's bullshitting with me, right? We're chopping it up. And we're probably in there like about a week when the incident happens. This is what happens. So he's like, I'm going to tell you a story, brother, right? So he talks about how he was out there. He was selling dope. He was doing this thing out there in Stockton, wiggling, and how 2 white dudes try to burn him. And I was like, in real life, they try to burn you. Knowing damn well you're the craziest fucking Uso that ever lived. They try to burn you. Because, see, he was different from regular Usos. See, most Usos are real quiet and nice, very respectful. You see them, they either don't talk at all and they just give you or they're just super nice, give you the shirt off their back, even though you can't fit it, right? But just that type of nice. He was totally opposite. He was mean. He was a mean motherfucker. People walk by, what you looking at, Oos? They'd be like, hell nah, fuck that. They just, motherfuckers knew, bow your head when you walk past the cell, which me and him just hit it off. We were just cool. I don't know why. I'm a little old skinny motherfucker at the time, right? This motherfucker's a big old ooze. But I was like, fuck with me. I'm looking at people too. I'm living vicariously through the homie. Fuck with me. I'll get motherfucker ooh on you, right? I'll get the lion and start roaring around this motherfucker. Now, so this motherfucker's right back to the same program. We're doing time. He's singing on the tier. He's singing outside in the back window. He's fucking fishing with everyone. He's prison. That motherfucker was prison made, right? So we're kicking. He tells me this story about two white dudes try to rob him. He's like, they try to rob me, Oos. They try to get me, Oos. I'm like, well, what happened? Every other word's Oos. He's like, brada, Oos. I was right there in Stockton, Oos. And I said, man, can we keep the Ooses to a minimum so we can tell the story? What you said, brother? I'll fuck you up. I'm like, oh, man. He always said that, I'll fuck you up. But that would mean, like, I got love for you. That's what I'm telling you. This dude was opposite. You know, most people would be like, damn, bro, I got hella love for you. This dude be like, oh, I hella fuck you up, brother. What? Yeah, I'm going to hella fuck you up. I'm going to break your back. Speaking of broken backs, this is what happens, right? So he starts telling me the story about these two white dudes. And I guess he knew one. They went way back. The other dude was like his brother-in-law or whatever he was, right? But he had gave him a kick, right? He had hooked him up with some credit, with a couple pounds of some weed, and they wiggled on him, right? So he's like, I wasn't tripping, brother. Hey, oops. I was just like, whatever. It's just 2 pounds, man. If that's what it is, that's what it is. I'm just going to wiggle through town. If I see him, I see him. But he wasn't looking for them. Well, he ends up catching up to one of them, right? He didn't catch up to the one that he was his homeboy. He caught up to his brother-in-law, right? And he sees him and old boy's sister. And so he fucking chokes dude almost to death in the middle of the Walmart aisle 9, right? And as he's choking him, he's telling dude's sister, who's his homeboy, right? Tell your brother I need my 2 pounds or I'm going to kill you guys, right? Whatever. So she's all scared. She goes running, man. He fucking knows the fucking guys who work, the fucking guys that work at the door, the greeters. So he has to get away. I tell you, Uso Lion knew everybody. All he had to do is look at him and go, ooh. They just, oh, it's Uso Lion. So he jams, right? He ends up getting away. I guess old boy feels disrespected. This white dude was crazy. I got to give it to him. I got to give him his respect, right? He was crazy, and he calls fucking Lion, talking about, man, I don't give a fuck if you're big, if you're Samoan, if you're a gangster. I don't care about none of that, bro. Saying, if you want that smoke, come to my house right now and let's get it, right? So Uso's like, okay, all right, okay. He calls about 16 of his motherfucking homeboys and brothers and cousins. One thing about the Samoans is they're related to the whole island, the whole family. You fuck with one Samoan, you fuck with the whole pineapple, right? The whole pineapple's going down. He called a whole bunch of big Usos, everyone bigger than the next. This is his story. I'm just telling you, right? They go to these white dudes. This white dude had the audacity to be him and his brother-in-law. Well, I'll just say this. His brother-in-law's head will never be the same, and his throat is not a throat no more. These motherfucking Usos commenced to breaking every single ligament that man had. That man, his nickname is now cartilage. Okay? He looks like an earlobe. They fucked him up. He's like, bro, we fucked him up. Uso says, he's telling me the story. He's laughing. So he's like, I almost broke him in half, like the movie Freddy versus Jason. And I started reminiscing on the story, right? So I'm like, oh, bro, that you didn't do that shit. He goes, no, for real, it could be done. Oos, I did it, Oos. So then I remember a story in Nellis. When I was in Fred C. Nellis in CYA, right? When I was in CYA, this fucking, there was a white dude there. His name was Woody, right? And so in Nellis, you had all the compas, which are the buildings, right? And if you're in Kennedy, that's like the last compa in the back, and then there's Taft right next to it. Well, if you look way in the distance, there's Nixon and Carter. And if you guys have ever watched the movie Hancock with Will Smith, that was filmed in Carter, right? Which is a 270 design building, like a prison building. It's connected. One building was Carter, where all the weirdos and I guess SAs were over there. You know, people that had bad offenses, I guess, right? And then on the other side was Nixon, which was basically like a shoe. And that's where they sent you if you were fucking up on the main line. Anyways, either there or Taft. The Taft program was worse, but Nixon was where they sent a lot of the Southerners that were getting in trouble. They had that motherfucker on lock. So anyways, there was this dude named Woody who was allegedly on Carter. I seen him one time. I'm not going to say allegedly he was. I seen him one time when he went to medical. He was a big old white dude. I mean, big, right? And so the story was circulating around, and it reminded me by what fucking Lion was telling me was that this dude went to he caught his girlfriend with some other dude, right? And he was young at the time, probably like 17, 18, but he was like a big old wood, just a giant. And I guess he literally broke this chick in half. And he had a water bed, and he would stuff her under there and bring her out whenever he wanted to, right? And his mom ended up smelling something funny, ended up figuring out what was going on, and that's how he got snatched up. And this dude was doing life, man. He was doing time over there in Carter with all the other weirdos, and then he was going to go to prison after, right? So I was telling him that story. He's like, that shit ain't true, Oos. That shit ain't possible. I said, motherfucker, you just told me you done almost broke the white dude in half. This dude broke a chicken in half. How's it not possible? Oh, Oos, I was just firing it up. I was like, what the fuck, right? Maybe that dude was firing it up too. Anyways, I thought he was firing it up. So every day, Lion would sing. And he sang Booya, the Booya tribe songs over and over and over again. So much that, hey, one day I would like the Booya tribe. The next day I hated them. Right? That's how much, you ever heard a song? You're like, all right. Then when you hear it too many times, at first it's like, yeah, sing that motherfucker again. That motherfucker's dope, right? He's rapping, singing the Booya tribe song. And then the next day I'm like, all right, that's right. He's singing the same song. And then the third day I'm like, all right, who's fuck that song? You know what I mean? That's the type of shit I was on. But this dude was all into the Booya tribe. He swore up and down he was related to them. They were his cousins. He used to go kick it with them and all that. Lies. One thing about Lion was always lying. Always, right? He would tell you, hey, Oos, watch, they're going to hook us up the whole extra trays every time. Oos, watch, I got us. Let me get at this cop. We got extra trays. He got extra trays, but where was mine? I mean, he got 3 trays. I got 1. So was it a lie? Because I never got my extra tray. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he just kept that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Who was I to say anything? You know what I'm saying? He needed the proteina. He needed it. I was good, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was not I was getting punked for a tray or nothing because I didn't have that shit coming anyways. He worked and finagled for it, so fuck it. Every once in a while, I got an extra cake. So I was good in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stick to that story and just pura. 10-5 aquí anyway. So look. So he's all into the Booya tribe. He used to always say, Booya. When people walk by, what up, Oos? Booya. It was funny. Just a funny Uso, right? Hella cool, hella mean, though. And so what happens is this. He was telling me the story like about a week before, 2 weeks before about the white dude. The one he almost broke in half, and the other one he choked tore his larynx out, right? Larynx? Is that how you say it? His larynx. That motherfucker can talk no more. And as we're kicking back right there, in the tier, we're just looking out the window. It's just a boring day in prison, right? Dudes come in, and this white dude comes in. He's like, hey, Oos, look. That looks just like the white dude I fucked up. And I'm thinking, no way. This can't be. It can't be, right? So I'm kind of looking like, oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. And he's like, it ain't him, Oos, but. And so as the dude's walking by, dude's right across from us on the third tier. Dude looks at Oos. He goes, what the fuck are you looking at? Now, this is different. You're not supposed to be looking at people disrespecting different races, different cars, different ethnicities. That's not how it works in prison, right? So Lion is looking for any reason to fight every time he's looking for a reason, right? So he looks at me and he's like, Booyah, right? Dude's like, dude ain't scared. Dude's a certified J-Cat. Disculpame. You could tell, man, that motherfucker's googly-eyed. Google me, homie, right? You could tell that fool is straight up a J-Cat. That fool's licking his window and shit. Disculpame. And Lion's like, bro, I'm going to break that dude's back in front of you. I said, man, I don't like that. This is prison. That doesn't sound right. I'm going to break his back. And especially you being my celly, bro. He was never on no weird shit, but I was always skeptical about sometimes. Dudes used to walk by and he used to be like, I'll break your back. They'd be like, no, you won't, motherfucker. You probably could, but I'm not going to be nowhere near you. They're looking at me like, damn, I'm looking at them like, nah, it's good, bro. He don't do shit like that. I'm trying to fucking tell them. They're looking at me like, I'm looking at him like, no, fuck you. He was cool as fuck. He never tried no weird shit, bro. I'd have hit that motherfucker as hard as I could, which wouldn't have did shit. And I'd have been on the door like, no, right? Got snatched up. So anyways, I'm like, you're not going to get action at that dude the very next day. So this J-Cat's looking, and he doesn't sign language, but fucking Uso Lion's just looking at him the whole time like this. And I'm like, bro, leave that dude alone. You ain't going to see that dude, man. He's like, I'm going to fuck that dude up. Oops, watch. He shouldn't disrespected me. I was like, bro, you kind of looked at him crazy, tried to punk him. He just didn't take it. He didn't disrespect you. He just didn't take it, right? He's like, nah, oops, I ain't going out like that, right? I'm going to have one of these cops get me out on the tier. So what would happen is we had tier tenders. And Lion usually was always a tier tender. He had it hooked up because I'd said he knew all the sergeants, knew everyone. So he gets at the cop the next day and he's like, hey, can I sweep on the tier. And the cop's like, nah, we already got our tier tenders. And he's like, all right. So there's this black dude. He's a Crip. He was from Townhome Crips, 44 Gs from Stockton, who Lion knew, right? He was cool with all the townhomes. So it was like, hey, Oos, let me get at you. Black dude's like, what's up, cuz? He's like, hey, Kiwi, hey, be sick today, man. So I could go out there and sweep the town. I need to get at someone. He's like, all right. So I'm thinking, I was like, bro, even if you go get at him, we said, what are you going to do? He goes, watch, Oos. I got this. This motherfucker had juice. Remember this, right? So I'm waiting. He was like, watch. This motherfucker's up and down the tier laughing with people, dancing and singing Booya Tribe songs at their door. I'm like, this big motherfucker ain't going to do nothing. I ain't going to tell him nothing, but he ain't going to do nothing, right? So as I'm sitting there in the window, right, I see the play. I'm like, oh, shit. This dude grabs like the rolls of toilet paper and he walks right by dude's cell, right? And he's like, hey, there's another cell. And there's he wasn't an Uso, he was a Tongan. That was right there. He was cool as fuck too. He was an older man, right? And so he's like, hey, let me give the older homie some toilet paper. He needs some toilet paper. And the cop's like, man, he's like, just man, come open his cell. And it's not the OG, it's the fucking white dude's cell. And I see the play, and as the cop comes and fucking, I'm seeing it open the door, right? Oh no. Uso went in that motherfucker, picked that dude up, picked him up. The white dude's like, ah! And try to break him in half, but the other way. So the motherfucker's head was in the back of his heels. Man, this dude, look, man, this is why I do the videos on Usos, and I tell you guys, leave them brothers alone. That motherfucker did the rock dance on it. He rock bottomed that motherfucker over his knee. It was crazy, right? Samoan drop. What was that called? The Uso slam? Whatever the fuck it was, right? I was like, damn, they snatched up Lion, looked at me, and he goes, Booya Tribe, Oos. And all kinds of cops. They took him to K-Wing. That was one of the last times I ever seen that dude in my life, right? He ended up coming back, and then he ended up getting off on the cop. I told you guys that story, but I was like, damn, bro, that fool did that shit. Freddie versus Jason, the fucking white dude, he was doing the flux capacitor. You know what I'm saying? 88 miles per hour. It was fucked up. Anyways, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Just a story about the homeboy Lion. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Vadio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the area, man, go tap in with the Vadio and go get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in AZ, man. Google the homeboy so he can pull up on you and take care of all them services, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Lion was a fool. He's like, Booyah, oos!